Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Kristen White, clinical psychologist and mom of 3, and this is the Mom Degree, where we provide support and tools to help women feel less crazy and be more effective in their role as moms. So we are in a series right now about parenting, all things parenting, and at the request of a few friends and viewers, we are going to talk for a few episodes here about the holidays. I know I used the H word. Are you okay? Is anyone breaking into cold sweats? It's all right. It's going to be okay. As I record this, it's a few days after Halloween, so it feels a little early to me, but I know by the time you're listening, it will already be just probably about 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. And as parents, I don't know about you, but one thing I know about the holidays is they go really fast, right? They already did, but now with little kids and maybe big kids, they just fly by. So I want to talk about just kind of generally today, how do we do the holidays well? What does our focus need to be? And then we'll get into a few more specific topics and content as we get closer to, I won't even use the C word yet. We'll just say till Thanksgiving and what comes after it, just in case, so I don't totally make you break into a sweat. Those of you, by the way, who are like done shopping already, God bless you. Just keep it to yourself. I am not that person. So today, though, we want to talk about how do we do the holidays well. For some of you, maybe you do it well by doing all of your shopping in like March. I don't know. But I want to go on a little bit of different track, which is not just what do we do. And basically, and it's actually important we talk about this early, because what I want to encourage you guys as a parent, as a mom, is that we can do the holidays well by focusing on what we need and want and being proactive about making it happen. That's really what we need to do. And so the reason we need to talk about this now is we don't want to wait until the holidays are upon us and scheduled, or other people are running the show, or we're halfway through. We want to, before we really get too like flowing in that river, we want to step back and think about what is it that we need and want, what is it that our kids need and want, what is it that our families need and want, and how do we proactively try to create that? What do we add in and say yes to, and what do we intentionally say no to, not because it's a bad thing, but because it doesn't fit what our families need and want. And I'm really going to encourage you guys in this. So this is going to be your task. This is what this whole video is about, is really thinking through what is it that your family needs and wants. And I'd like you to focus, you can decide who's in your family. For me, that main focus is on my nuclear family. So it's on me and my husband and my 3 kids. Yes, I also care what my parents want, my brother wants, blah, 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 what my in-laws want, but I can't make everybody happy. And it's not my job to make my in-laws or my parents or my brother have a good Christmas, right? Oh, sorry, I used the C word. I'm trying not to raise anxiety. It's my job, though, to try to do my best to structure the holidays for me and my kids and my husband. That is my world, my purview. So that's what I'm kind of saying. And I notice, so I'm kind of noticing in family who may be outside of that, not that we don't care about them, but who your focus is on. Notice who's inside of that. It's not just your kids. You're in that circle too, right? So this goes back to all our conversations on self-care. When we're thinking about what is it that we need and want for the holidays, this needs to be what is it that you need and want to. And part of the reason we need to think about this is that, as you guys know, the message in the holidays, what we're going to hear is do more, be more, get more, blah, blah, more, right? That seems to be a lot of our culture's message already. And ironically, it just gets amped up in the holidays, right? It just gets louder and bigger. Do more, do everything you did in years past. Oh, and here's this cool idea for your neighbors, or here's something your kids, class is doing, and you have to do all of it. More. It makes me anxious just as I say that. Sorry, I'm probably raising your anxiety now. So here's what I want to say. You don't have to do more. You don't have to do all of that stuff. It is not, that is not all your job. Your job is your family, okay? And you are the only one, maybe you and your partner, that can decide what it is that you and your family need and want, okay? And I'm intentionally using those words, need and want. So I want to unpack them a little bit. The want, what I really want to get to is not a selfish, like, let's make this all about me. That's not what I'm aiming for here. What I'm thinking more of are, what are your values? What do you value at Christmas time? Sorry, I can't help talking about the holidays. I'm trying not to use the C word, but I'm sorry. Okay, so what are your values over the holiday? Is it family togetherness? And if so, who's included in family when you say that? Is it seeing as many people as possible and catching up with people? Is it giving the perfect gift? Is it having some downtime? Because theoretically, there's like sometimes weeks off of school or work. I don't know. What is it that you value? That's kind of what I mean by want. Not a selfish, this holiday is all about me, but what more a focus on a proactive, thoughtful, mindful attention to what are the things that really are meaningful to you. So that, I mean, ironically, when I first say, what do you want? It might sound selfish, right? Like it's all about you guys. It's all about us. But ironically, if we don't stop and think about that at the level of values, it may easily become all about what other people think, or all about consumerism, or all about a whole bunch of things that really aren't that meaningful and leave us all exhausted and really actually pretty unfulfilled. So that's what I mean by what you want is your values. What is it that you really value in the holidays? And we want to proactively make that happen. I'm going to come back to that. Now, also, of course, there's what you and your family need. Because sometimes, you know, maybe I really value, I don't know, going to all these Christmas parties, but I'm not in the season of life for that because my kids are too little or whatever. I don't know, you name it. So we have to, of course, we have to put our values in the context of our life now. And how do these values look today based on the age of our kids, based on the season we're in, based on where we're living, right? So we kind of have to take these values and put them in a real life and a real point in time. And sometimes that adjusts them a little bit. Okay. So I want you to think about, this is going to be your mom challenge this week. And I'll give you, well, should we do examples first? Let me give you an example. So as I said, I'm recording just past Halloween. So I heard a really interesting idea for Halloween. I don't know if you guys have heard of this yet. It just came up for me. Some mom told me about this idea of, I think it was the Switch Witch, I think is her name. I don't know. It's kind of like the Elf on the Shelf, but for Halloween. We'll get to the Elf on the Shelf later. I have some definite thoughts about that. Not to this video, probably. Anyways, Switch Witch. So Switch Witch, I guess you talk it all up. I guess there's a doll. I'm not really sure. And then the idea is after Halloween, the kids, if they want, they put all their candy on the front porch, and Switch Witch comes and takes their candy and gives a toy instead. Okay, now, my first thought is like, okay, that's genius. And whoever came up with that, props to you. And they're going to make $1 million selling little witches that we have some story about. So, but then I stopped and think like, okay, and you know, she's telling me this is the new thing, like blah, blah, blah. So I stopped and think, okay, like what is my value? Does that fit my values? Yes, I do value eating healthy, so that fits. And this is the thing about values, by the way. You might have more than one, right? And then you have to figure out how to navigate amongst them. You might have more than one in yourself, much less in your whole family, right? So I also value, though, for my kids, I value trying to teach them mindful eating. And one of the things about mindful eating is checking in with your body, and that there's no good or bad foods. What is my body actually hungry for? So part of me doesn't want to say we can never have candy in the house, because then they don't get to learn how to eat candy in moderation, or how to skip candy because that's not really what their body wants. Now, this is like we'll do a whole video on like eating with kids. And it's really hard, and I'm not saying it's working perfectly, but I kind of decided, you know what? I don't know that I want that to be the thing where all the candy is then gone. And nor do I necessarily want them to get more stuff around Halloween. Stuff is not something I value, and we got more than enough of it. So I decided, all right, that's a cool thing that other moms are doing. That's probably not my thing. Great. All right. So that's how I decide though, what is in and what is out for my family. What are we doing and what are we not doing around the holidays? Is what do I value and what are our needs, right? There might be times that like my need, I have no self-control, and my need to not have candy might override that value, and that's okay. Maybe we do Switch Witch that year. So we have to really balance these things, and it's not that this is easy. It's not that like if you stop and think about this, you're going to come with one thing and that's going to be simple. It's more being mindful, being thoughtful, being aware. What are the needs? What are the values for your family? And again, for each member, right, you have to think about this. They can do some of this on their own, but as mom, you really get to do a lot of the driving on this. And so you get to think about that for the whole family. One more example, and then I'll give you mom challenge. We're going to be talking about this this idea throughout this series. But one more example. So for me, one of my values is not stuff. I'm not, and that's like a huge thing, right, around the holidays, and I'm just not a big stuff person, and I actually kind of hate like little like trinkets. Like I don't understand at birthday parties why they give kids all these little like crappy dollar toys. I'm sorry. God bless you to all your moms who have spent so much time doing this. It's not wrong. We're just different. I'm okay with that. But I don't value that a lot. So when it comes down, then it's like, it's Christmas and it's like time to do, every little get every kid these like silly things that are just crap and they're not going to use them, or they're going to play with them for 5 minutes and then they're going to go in a drawer and clutter up the house. I don't value that. So guess what? I either don't do it at all, and I'm cool with that. I will be the one mom that doesn't. I have no problem with that because it doesn't fit the needs and wants and values of my family right now. Now, my daughter's going to get old enough pretty soon where she wants to do it, and I have to balance that. So maybe then we do decide to participate, but we do it in a way that's really simple, that doesn't detract from the other values. We don't feel the pressure to come up with some crazy handmade, expensive, time-consuming thing, or maybe we find a way to make it meaningful. Make it reflect something we do value, right? So that's, and we don't have time to think about everything on this level, but the idea is to be aware and thoughtful about what are the values, what are the needs in your family, and proactively then drawing the lines. What gets to stay in and what goes out? Are there things you need to plan, that new traditions, right, to feed these values? Are there things you need to cut out? What do you need to say yes to? What do you need to say no to? So here's your mom challenge. I want you to imagine that it's December 26th or January 2nd or wherever you feel like all the holidays are done. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, whatever it is you celebrate, it's all over. And I want you to imagine you wake up the next day and you think, oh, that was an awesome holiday season. That was so great. I wish they were all like that. What is it that made it so awesome? What is it that you're feeling, that you're reflecting on, that you're thinking about? What specific things did you do or not do? What are the things that made it feel so awesome? And those, I think, are a starting point for the needs and values that you proactively need to fight for. So immediately for me, some of the things that come up are, and there's probably going to be more than one. That's okay. Don't come up with like 30, but like 2 or 3, that's good. But they can be your priorities. I want to have a lot of meaningful family time, particularly with my husband and my kids, but also with extended family that is important to me. I don't want to wake up feeling exhausted. If I wake up and we're all overstimulated and grumpy and irritated because we've been to so many things, that's not successful to me. So I actually want some rest in there, as crazy as that sounds, or at least like a moderate pace. That's a value to me. Also spiritually, I want the holidays somehow, somewhere to be a lot about Christ, and you don't have to share that value. Again, this isn't wrong. It's just what our differences, recognizing what's important to us and living that, right? And living what we're made to be. So for me, spirituality is an important part. That's a part for me and something I'm really focused on and something I'm also passing to my kids. Those are some things that immediately come up for me. They may be totally different for you. That is your mom challenge though. Think about it. Maybe write them on an index card, tell them to a friend, post them in the comments, put them someplace. You actually take the time, write them or say them so you don't lose them. Maybe post them in your calendar, right? So every time you're like, should I say yes or no to this? You can look, how does it align with my values, right? And my family's needs and wants. That is your mom challenge. I promise we will talk more about this, but I hope that gets you started. Let me know also what questions you have on the holidays. We're going to talk about Santa. We're going to talk about Elf on the Shelf. We're going to talk about whatever we have time to talk about, and just bigger themes of love, receiving and giving love. It's all coming. All right. Much love, many blessings. Hopefully I didn't raise your anxiety terribly. Go take a deep breath. Until next time on The Mom Degree.